what you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
Footcandle Films. Film news and reviews from two guys who really like movies.
This episode is brought to you by the Footcandle Film Society. For a schedule of upcoming screenings and membership information, visit the Society's website at www.footcandle.org.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Footcandle Films here on the Mesh.tv podcast network. My name is Alan Jackson. With me is Chris Fry, and we are with the Footcandle Film Society and the annual Footcandle Film Festival coming up in September. More on that later in the show. But Chris, how are you doing today?
Doing well. I guess today, instead of reviewing movies, we're going to go and learn about crime, because it's Crime 101, so it's the entry-level class in how to do crime. So we're going to learn how to rob banks and things like that, right?
Yes, entry-level class on committing crimes here on the review of Crime 101.
Okay, so it's actually a movie.
That's the title of the movie.
Gotcha.
Yeah, sorry to disappoint. Not going to learn anything today. We're just going to be watching and seeing if Mr. Chris Hemsworth can successfully follow the rules of committing a crime, if he attended the intro class or not. We're playing this out. This is this is not going well, Chris. That all to say, we are going to be reviewing the film Crime 101, as our jokey intro tried to allude to, and starring Chris Hemsworth, Mark Ruffalo, Barry Keoghan, and Halle Berry. And we'll also, after that review, Chris, we're gonna do a little on-air production meeting where we try to decide what it is we're going to watch and review this coming weekend. And we're going to do that by watching 3 trailers of films that we're not really that familiar with that are coming out this weekend, starting and opening. We're in the middle of February.
Yes.
It's kind of a slow time for any big new movies. So we are struggling to figure out what it is we're going to watch and review. So we're going to watch these trailers and let those 3 decide if one of those becomes our target for the weekend. Sounds good to you there?
That sounds fair.
Good. And then we're going to end the show with Chris giving us a recommendation of a film he thinks we ought to check out, and as always. And so we'll look forward to that at the end. But before we get to all that, let's rewind and get back to our main review, which is the film Crime 101.
Mike.
Sharon. So what are we driving?
If you can guess, I'll give you the keys to it.
Ooh, Chevy Chevette, racing green.
Right color.
That is a beautiful car. I need to be in your line of work. I'm real good at reading people.
And what have you read about me?
Okay. You look like a person who has secrets. You got the cars, the clothes, but you can't seem to look me in the eye.
Start by handing me your phone.
You're looking at robberies of jewels, money, or high-value items in the last 4 years. Now, remove every robbery where there was DNA left at the scene. I think all of these are the same guy, and he hits every time along the 101 freeway.
I came here to make you a business.
Writer-director Bart Layton's new film, Crime 101, follows an elusive thief, played by Chris Hemsworth, who, while plotting his final score, encounters a disillusioned insurance broker, played by Halle Berry. As their paths intertwine, a relentless detective, played by Mark Ruffalo, trails them, hoping to thwart the multi-million-dollar heist they are planning. In addition to those already mentioned, the cast also includes Barry Keoghan, Nick Nolte, Monica Barbaro, and a blink-and-you'll-miss-it appearance by Jennifer Jason Leigh. Alan, what did you make of the film, and do you know why diamonds are always transported in folded bits of blue paper?
That's a really good question. I was actually wondering that myself. There is a shot of the diamonds late in the film, and yeah, as they're being unfolded in this little folded paper thing, it's like, Really? That's the way we
Not in like
transport
a
these.
velvety little bag or something.
Or even just something that can actually physically close and
Right.
keep them safe.
Yes.
Anyway, okay, good question. What was your question again, other than the diamond
Just
question?
what did you make of it? What did you make of the film? Yeah.
So here's the thing with this movie, Chris.
Yes. Long sigh.
I thought it was really boring.
Okay.
And unfortunately, I can't even think back to a moment of this film that I would say or reference or mention to anybody of, hey, you should go see this movie because this or because of that. This is, oh man, in my opinion, about as paint by numbers as you can get. It is every cliche known to man for a crime heist thriller, with none of them really standing out at all.
Okay.
Now, like, I'll say this. If this is on in the background in the future, when I've got a TV on at home and it's on, I'd probably leave it on just because as a total piece, it's fine. But I honestly, at this point, I'm trying to think back to anything about this film that was extraordinary or interesting or exciting, and I've got nothing. This is a film I feel like it wants its score and it wants its shots to make it an interesting film,
Okay.
and it doesn't. There are moments in this film that you are supposed to feel thrilled, you're supposed to feel tense, you're supposed to, and I don't get any of that. And the music is just like, no, this is important. Bum, 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 bum. You know, we in building it up, and I never got anything out of this. So I didn't think the performances were really anything special. Not that they're bad, but there's just scenes of dialogue between key characters that I'm like, this should be a really good scene of dialogue. And it's like, it just kind of fell flat. There's really just not much to it. And I feel really bad because I know we were both looking forward to this film. We were both really big fans of Bart Layton, the director's. Was his previous movie, was American Animals his previous movie, or did he do something else in between?
American Animals was his previous film. He's done
Okay.
a lot of TV in between
Sure.
that film and this film.
But, and I'm such a big fan of that film. I
as well.
tried not to go into this film with high expectations, Chris. It was tough not to. But ultimately, I just walked away saying, I just didn't get anything out of this movie. So, not to say it was a bad movie. It's just, there's just nothing about it that I can say, wow, this was a good movie for these reasons. Anyway, so that's where I am with it. I'm very nonchalant about this movie. I think it's, I can say it was a movie that was made that I saw.
Sure.
that's about
Those are all facts. Yes.
Chris, but I'm really anxious to hear your thoughts on Crime 101.
Well, you talk about, expectations, which I'm number one guilty person of that, because we had played the trailer, I think, on the show, and we'd seen the trailer in the theater, and we discussed it. The cast, the director, and what little bit I knew about the story, I was like, okay, I wanted something, and because of the director, I thought I was going to get, and because of the quality of the cast, I thought I was going to get something that would make it a little bit singular somehow. I just trusted, this may look like every other Cops and Robbers, but there's going to be something that's going to kind of stand out, because with his two previous films, American Animals, which, we've talked about on the show, and he did this other one called The Imposter, that both films were narrative, and they did recreations of actual events, but then they would throw in documentary interviews, talking directly to the camera. So it made them unique, and both of them, I came away with oh, those are really cool, and I liked them a lot. So not that I, the fact that he decided to break the mold of what I expected, that's fine, but I just wanted something a little bit, I wanted another new mold that was going to say, oh, this is a new style he's going into. But instead, it just kind of became very generic.
Generic. That's really the best way to
Generic.
describe
so,
it.
It's called Crime 101, and this is like a Crime 101. And I'll echo the fact that I thought the film looked good.
Sure.
I thought the performances were good.
Fine.
We're fine. But it's not like they stood out,
Right.
but they were good. I mean, they were fun. And I think there was potential with Halle Berry's character. You know, she's struggling with, you know, chauvinistic workplace, and there's some potential there.
Well, that was a very interesting
But-
potential storyline that didn't really land anywhere.
Right. And there's some, it's like there's potential, but doesn't reach it. I mentioned the kind of throwaway performance by Jennifer Jason Leigh. I like her a lot. And
Yeah.
when she shows like, oh, she plays the, I guess, soon to be ex-wife of Mark Ruffalo's character, and
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
you're like, blink and you'll miss it. And you're like, oh,
was
like
it.
why bother having her in the film at all? If all she's going to have is like literally one scene and it's very brief and she walks away, you're like, okay.
You're hitting on the fact that there are some interesting ideas of things to explore in this film. All right, I'm going to rattle them off. You mentioned one already. The Halle Berry character, her whole workplace situation.
Right.
It's interesting. There's potential for an interesting story to develop out of that, and it does nothing with it. It is very bland. Even the way it kind of ends late in the film, it's just kind of okay. So that was it. That was how you're ending this
And
whole
we're done. Yes.
storyline. Okay.
Sure.
You've got the cop played by Mark Ruffalo,
Right.
which we learned that there's a storyline dealing with some police corruptness
Yes.
that he's kind of perpendicular to.
Right.
And it's like, okay, doesn't really do anything with that either. It's like, all right, well, that was an angle you could have taken with this character. Then you got his divorce going on, which is like kind of played a little bit more for laughs at times in the film.
Right.
His current situation didn't really do anything with that.
And I'd totally forgotten. We haven't even mentioned him yet. Good actor. He's been in other things. Very small part, very throwaway, but he has a good back and forth with Mark Ruffalo. His kind of buddy cop character. He's a newer cop, Corey Hawkins,
Corey
who plays
Hawkins
his.
is great.
He's great, but they're, again, just
Super generic.
Yeah,
It's
super
like, oh, well, he's playing the partner that, you know, kind of breaks rank a little bit with the Mark Ruffalo character.
Right.
But then again, I'm like, oh, okay, now this is taking, and it drops that kind of
Yeah.
plot line. Well, not only does it start that plot line like halfway through the movie
true.
with a weird scene of like a policeman shooting someone that I'm like, I don't understand what that scene
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
trying to accomplish and where it was trying to go. But it's like, and then, okay, now let's get back to the main character here.
Sure.
Davis, played by Chris Hemsworth.
Also adopted. Well, not adopted, but orphaned. He was an orphaned. Yeah.
Okay. And it's alluded to in the film about his past, and he's very secretive, and we start to get little hints about it. Okay, there's a whole thing to
And how
explore
he feels
there.
about with money and people that don't value
Yeah.
what they have and all that. Yeah.
Because there's one scene in the film where I thought the film actually was kind of sparking something interesting, and it's when Mark Ruffalo shows up, is tracking a lead to find Davis, and
Yes.
tracks him down to an old house that he was raised in as an orphan.
Right.
And at that point, I'm like, okay,
Something
this film is like
happening
trying
here.
to do something a little different here
Right.
now, and then it just kind of lets that float in the breeze too. So it's just, it had all these little things brought in that was like, oh, it could have made this a different type of movie, or at least a little bit more standing out interesting, but it just didn't know what to do with any of those plot lines.
Okay, and since we're playing Mr. Fix It, yeah, you and I are playing Mr. Cinema Fix It. If this film was a tight 95 minutes, which when you think of a crime, drama, thriller, caper, that's kind of what you more expect. I would almost forgive that those threads were dropped. But the fact that this is 2 hours and 19 minutes, and it is kind of deliberate slow, which is not what you expect for a quote unquote thriller, they had the time to do any one of those well, and they didn't.
Well,
So-
and let me criticize a little bit on the timing as well. The first hour of this film is all set up. It really is.
Yeah.
The main plot line where we have Davis concocting a plan with the Halle Berry character, I'm trying to remember her, Sharon, happens literally halfway through the movie, like
Right.
where they start to have a dialogue
Right.
about what's going. And then the film is culminating with one sequence that is kind of being built up to in that whole second half of the film. that's another moment where I felt like the film had something going for it, where there's a moment where I'm going to say these four characters are kind of merging
Yes.
into a sequence, and it builds up some tension that I was starting to pick up on. It's like, okay, something's happening here. This sequence could make this whole film kind of work if they pull it off. And it didn't. I mean, I felt like the ending of this film, the ending sequence was built up really nicely. And I'm like, okay, we've been waiting almost 2 hours for this.
Right.
Let's do this.
Let's do it.
And then when the scene actually rolled out, it was like, that was it too. It was like, really? Like, wow. It was just, and again, because again, if somebody said to me, "Hey, Alan, describe this movie to me," I'm like, it's people decide to perform a crime, and that was it. I mean,
Right.
I can't really point out anything else that's like, oh, this was interesting with it. This was done well. This was, there's just nothing.
Barry Keoghan's character too, kind of, it confused me a little bit because he plays Ormond, who's this other criminal that's involved. You say he's one of the four. And granted, he did a good job of playing somebody I didn't like. And
Sure.
I don't like him. I'm like, oh, but at one point, kind of in the first half of the film or something, he does a crime that Hemsworth was not wanting to do.
Right.
And he's playing like, mean and rough, but then at some points he actually is kind of trying to be nice to some of the people that he's roughing up in a bank. And I'm just like, no, wait, do what? Like it was, and I don't know if that was a decision that at one point they were going to make him somewhat sympathetic or something, but then they said, nope, we're just going to make him a bad
we
person.
see a little bit of that side of him also in that final scene too. There's like a moment where he kind of flips his personality and gets very emotional, and it's just, I don't recognize his character. So I don't really know what he's pulling off here.
Right.
And Chris, I will say that this film, at least for me, again, I'm willing to give it a very generic pass and say, look, it's
not a bad movie. It just doesn't stand out.
It's something to watch, but
It's something to watch.
you know how I am about if there is a plot point or an action a character takes that makes no sense or something that just doesn't fit, but it was put in there or done because that's the way that this story has to advance. We have to get to these plot beats.
Right.
There is one point, and I'm trying to think if I can describe it in a way without spoiling anything,
Okay.
but there's one aspect of the final build-up scene, the final build-up crime,
Okay.
that I can't shake, and I cannot reconcile in my head how I'm supposed to buy this. And it makes the entire ending of the film fall apart for me. Let me just say this.
Okay.
Chris Hemsworth plays Davis. Davis is incredibly resourceful, intelligent.
Yes.
He is always full of the information he needs to know about the people.
And we should say too, like, we were joking at the very beginning of the show, Crime 101, we were going to be taking a class. Okay. It is explained in the film, the Highway 101. And that is how Ruffalo has basically been eyeing this criminal, because apparently Hemsworth, like you're saying, Hemsworth's criminal, Davis is very smart, but all of his crimes have happened right off Highway 101.
101, yeah.
So, okay.
Clever. So Chris Hemsworth, Davis, very smart, very resourceful guy. Part of the final crime that we're building up to for a good hour
Sure.
in this film is hinging on him posing as somebody, okay, a driver. I think we can say that. Again, we can do this without. Hinges on him being posing as a driver, taking on the personality, taking on the identity of somebody else,
Right.
posing as a driver, and picking up someone from the airport.
Right.
The fact that Davis doesn't know this person he's going to pick up, what this person's supposed to look like,
Sure.
I do not buy one bit at all.
Okay.
And I'll add on to that real quick, and I'll let
Sure.
you go.
No.
And I'll add on the person that he does pick up, who is not the person he's supposed to pick up, but is the person posing as the person he's supposed to pick up.
Got you.
That person he should also know who that person is, because they have had conversations, and you cannot tell me that Davis is not someone who is resourceful enough to say, I just had a very stressful conversation with someone over the phone that is in a place that they should not be. I'm going to find out who this person is. And at the very least, I'll at least know what they look like, because we have the internet. We have the world.
And this is a modern day
Yes.
crime thing. Yeah.
So the fact that not only did he not know what the person he was supposed to pick up looked like, but he didn't even recognize that the person he's picking up is someone he should know by this point who that person is. That whole sequence, I kept hoping to myself, please let this be another twist con where he does know who this person is he's picking up, and he's kind of playing along and going to, he honestly did not know who these people were. And I'm like, I don't buy that one bit. So the whole ending for me just kind of collapses. So
Yeah,
anyway, I'm sorry. It's things like that do bug me, because it's like,
Sure.
you expect me to believe this character for the last 2 hours, but then they do something that is so uncharacteristically them. That's like, I don't buy anything else you're showing me now.
That's valid. And I think too, you can get away with him making a foolish, if something forced him to do that, like
Yes.
a plan had changed. He's like, I got to do this. And
last minute change.
That would have been
I gotta
okay.
Scramble. I
Right.
don't know who I'm picking up, but I just got to go with it.
Yeah.
We got
something
no sense
else
of
was
that.
supposed to happen, but now I'm forced to do this. Yeah.
We got no
Granted,
sense of that.
I think because that moment had been spoiled by the trailer.
Oh, so I remember that.
Yeah, I knew that something was going to happen at some point anyway. So I guess I gave it a pass, but just I shouldn't have, because for the reasons you pointed out, he should be better than that.
Right.
So-
Yes. And that just invalidates so much more about this character than I've seen the whole rest of the movie. So
yeah, they even do a little bit of David Fincher's film, The Killer.
yes.
How Fassbender does all this, make sure he doesn't leave any traces, shaves off
Yeah.
hair and follicles or just pieces of skin. They show him doing that at the very beginning and then just kind of drop that. It's like, what? But yeah, the person who goes to those lengths to not leave any traces at crime, he's not going to know some of the other details.
He's just going to go to the airport and say, I'm supposed to be picking up this really critical person.
Right. To be my last job.
To be my last job, and I'm supposed to pick him up. I'm supposed to identify him at the airport, and it's like, somehow I don't even know what he looks like. How is that even possible? It's like, I don't know.
Fair.
The car chase scenes were pretty cool.
Yeah.
The car chase scenes looked good and were pretty, and they weren't great, but they were good. Yeah, that's the whole thing with this film, Chris. Everything is okay. Performances were fine. The shots were fine. The pacing was okay, just long. But it's not a
bad
nothing stands
film,
out.
but it seems like something that would have gone direct to a streaming service.
Yeah, and I think I read somewhere after I saw the film that was part of the original plan. But then all the cast and everybody is like, no. We, or the director was
Give
like,
this
no,
a
we can get this.
theatrical release.
Let's go theaters with this. And it's like, but even on streaming, it would have been worse, Chris.
Okay.
I feel like on streaming,
Because you wouldn't have had the attention span.
you wouldn't have the
because-
attention. I would have been drifted so far away from this film if it was just on in my living room. So I'm glad they got it in a movie theater, but it's like, I can't. And Monica Barbaro is in this film.
Totally. I felt like I recognized her. I was like, what? And then afterwards, I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. She was the one that was Joan Baez in the Bob Dylan biopic. Oh, yeah. And I'm like, wow.
Totally
completely wasted.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, again, another thing about this film, so generic. She plays a character that is a completely stereotypical character for a crime movie like this.
Right.
She's the pseudo girlfriend of the main character who doesn't know enough about her boyfriend or the guy she's seeing.
Right.
And it's like, and you do nothing else with this character.
And we
It's that's
knowing
it.
Barbara, who had a smaller part in the Dylan biopic, she's capable.
Oh, she's
of
good.
Really.
So
Yeah.
it's just disappointing.
Okay.
Disappointing.
Sure. So to close things out, I assume you've kind of said your
done.
piece. Okay.
Yeah, I'm done.
So to close things out, I'll say that I did a little digging.
Okay.
Layton's next film appears to be Rogue Male. The plot is as follows. A hunter's failed attempt to assassinate a dictator forces him to seek hiding back home in the rural English countryside. One Benedict Cumberbatch is slated to play the Rogue Male.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Alan? Thoughts?
I mean, sure. We'll see. I don't know. I mean, after
Sure.
this, it's like, you gave me if you read the description of Crime 101, I'd be like, ooh, that sounds pretty good. So I don't know.
Sure.
I really don't know. I just hope, just do something interesting.
Right.
Just make something interesting out of this. That's all we need. Obviously, Bart Layton's a very competent filmmaker. I mean, we know with American Animals, man, he turned out a really good movie. And it's
Yes.
like but it's just this one I think it just kind of got away from everybody. It's like, okay, we've got a decent script. I want to make Heat. I love Heat. I want to make.
I was wondering if we were going to get through this conversation, but I have seen like a ton. That's the blowback is like, oh, you're reheating Heat, and I'm like, I get
hate
it.
saying that, but it's like it is kind of true, and it's like, yeah, okay, so I get that you like this kind of movie, and you made a movie like this, and you got a great cast, and you got all the money. It seems like you need to make this thing work, and you couldn't make any of the interesting elements that were floating in the surface of this film stick and work to be something different.
And frustrating because we think if there's anybody capable of reheating Heat, oh yeah, he is, and this cast is, but yet nope, just like didn't.
I think the way you fix this film, Chris, is you shorten it.
No. Yeah.
You get right into the Halle Berry, Chris Hemsworth dynamic quickly. That should be like the first thing that happens is those two meet.
Right.
And that sets off this whole idea of, hey, he wants to do one last crime. She is a great opportunity to work with him on it. He sees the potential where just let it start from minute one.
Right.
And all along there, all you do is you hone in on his upbringing as a child and how that changes who that makes him who he is now.
Gotcha.
As Halle Berry's learning about him, his girlfriend's learning about him, and the policeman chasing him are all learning about him. Let that be the core focus of the film.
Gotcha.
That makes a film.
It sounds
that
like
becomes interesting.
Sure.
But you take it and you water it down and you spread it out an hour longer than it needs. Well, half an hour longer than it needs to. And you try to weave in all these other things that you just don't hit. It just becomes kind of a very watered down movie. And that's kind of the best way to describe this. So.
Agreed.
Okay. Are we done?
Yes, I believe we are.
Yeah, we don't normally deconstruct a movie quite as much as we did that one, but I think it's just because you and I both wanted it to work.
Sure.
And we're hoping it would work. I love the idea of seeing a non-franchise, non-sequel adult movie in the theaters with a really strong cast. It's like, this is exciting. I want this to work. And it was just a shame that it just didn't really. So anyway. Okay. Well, that is Crime 101. Here's the deal, guys. Anybody listen to this? I actually want you all to go see this movie. Because I think it's important that people go see and support movies like this in the movie theater. But two, just give us some feedback.
Yeah.
If we're missing
something?
Are we missing something with this film, or are we being too hard on it, or what? I really want to hear some outside opinions on this, because I think we're too close to we may be too close to it after our American Animals love. That I just want to make sure we're not missing something. So yeah, I do say go see it and write us a note. Tell us what you thought, and maybe we'll have a follow-up conversation about this movie at some point down the road. So, okay. Well, that is okay. Boy, we went really kind of long on that. It was good. All right. That was Crime 101, still playing in theaters, but probably not for long. So I'd rush out there quickly to go see it and let us know what you think.
Yes.
All right. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, Chris, like I said, we're going to do a quick on-air production meeting and decide what it is we're going to be reviewing this weekend by watching 3 quick trailers to help us make that decision. So stay tuned. You're listening to Foot Candle Films. We'll be right back.
Want to discover great podcasts or maybe even start one of your own? Welcome to The Mesh, Western North Carolina's podcast network built for creators and listeners alike. From local sports and business to comedy and culture, The Mesh is home to unique voices and fresh perspectives. Do you have something you want to say? The Mesh can help you bring your podcast to life with the tools, support, and platform you need to be heard. Check us out at themesh.tv, where great podcasts live and new ones are born.
Welcome back to Foot Candle Films here on the Mesh.tv podcast network. We had our little long and in-depth review discussion of the film Crime 101. But let's move on. Chris and I discussed it more during the quick break we had. Yes. I just think, this is a movie I will probably be talking about, but not in the way that I think the cast and crew wanted us to be talking about it. Okay. Chris, this weekend, we always... here on the show, after we record these episodes, we take a look at the schedule and the calendar and say, all right, what movies are coming out this weekend? Right. So what are we going to plan on reviewing for this next week's podcast? And normally it's a pretty easy decision. It's like, okay, there's this movie coming out. Yeah, that's the one we want to see. Or it's a toss up between two. It's normally, that leads to a little bit of discussion and we make a decision. This weekend, we are in the dead time of movie theaters right now. We're in the wasteland. We're in the time period where theaters don't have tons of options going on.
All the Oscar movies have all been out. So and then they haven't started the onrush of the big summer movies they have planned. So yes, this zone. Yeah.
So like last weekend, we had Crime 101 open. Mm-hmm. We had Goat, which was an animated film, open up. We had Wuthering Heights open up, which is, we probably need to mention that in the mix as well. That may still need to be something we review. I don't know. But this coming weekend, February 20th, we've got several films opening wide that are all pretty small, I think, impact possibly. I will say one that I think is going to get some audience is I Can Only Imagine 2. That's the sequel to I Can Only Imagine. Okay. From Lionsgate. It is a faith tangential film, faith-based, and about a musician, I believe, kind of wrestling with fame and fortune.
Based on true story? Not based on true story.
I'm not sure. Okay. I'm not sure. I've not seen the original. Gotcha. So unfortunately, I don't feel qualified to go out and see that one and review it because I'm not familiar with the original. Sure. So we've got that going on.
Right.
But then there's 3 other movies. Actually, there's 4, but we're only going to focus on 3 that are opening this weekend. All 3 very small movies and not making a big splash anywhere. But let's take a look at these 3 films. We're going to play the trailer for each of these 3 and see if any of these 3 are the ones after this discussion that we decide, we need to go. We'll go see this and review it.
Okay.
Does that sound fair?
Fair enough.
First up is a film called How to Make a Killing. This is an A24 film, and it stars a Mr. Glenn Powell. The writer-director is John Patton Ford, and you also have Margaret Qualley in the film as well. Already, this is sounding like, hey, this sounds good. This may be the one we want to check out. But let's take a look and see the official trailer of How to Make a Killing. Here we go.
Okay, gun to your head. What would you even do with $1 billion?
Why do you have a gun to my head? Since the day I was born, my mother told me we were different. Yes, she had been disowned by her family, but someday I would become the sole heir. The real estate, planes, an island or 2.
Beckett, no way. So are you living in the city now?
Yeah, I do. A little outside of it.
Whatever happened to the Redfellow family fortune?
I'll inherit it. Someday.
So that was the trailer for How to Make a Killing. I'm good to see that. So let's skip through the rest of this.
I'd be surprised, but I'm looking forward to seeing the other 2 trailers just to see. But my only disappointment is I feel like I saw too much.
Yeah.
But it still looks like it could be tone management may be a problem for the film, but I'm interested in it, and I like Glenn Powell, and like the whole setup seems interesting.
Yep.
So, yeah.
I'm with you. I think this looks interesting enough.
Yeah.
And I hope it's doing something a little more than a cut and dry film that it could be. And the trailer seems to indicate it's doing a little bit more.
Sure.
There's a little bit more involved in this. So, okay, good. I am hopeful on that one, but yes, I'm game to see How to Make a Killing. All right. But now we do have two other candidates, so I don't want to shortchange them.
Sure.
Let's take a look at these as well. This next one is called Midwinter Break.
It's about two college students that, like, after exams or whatever. No,
it's nothing like that.
Okay.
Based on an acclaimed novel.
Okay.
Midwinter Break is a stirring meditation on faith, commitment, and the enduring power of love as a longtime couple takes a life-changing trip to Amsterdam.
Oh, they must do like shrooms or something, and it gets all out of whack. No.
Boy, you are just intent on just turning this into something it's not. So,
fair enough.
Leslie Manville and Ciaran Hinds
Gotcha.
are the two. So let's take a look at Midwinter Break, the trailer for this.
Amsterdam. That's fantastic.
What brings you to Amsterdam?
I thought it was time for an adventure.
What is it, love?
We seem to have become exiles from each other. From the promises we made. The promise I made.
All right. So that was the trailer for Midwinter Break. Chris, any reactions on that?
Let's say the trailer was roughly 2 minutes. First 30 seconds, I'm like, nope. I can completely bypass this. It's just not my bag, not meant for me. However, trailer takes a turn, and I'm assuming the film will take a turn where there's a little bit more to this couple than meets the eye, secrets from the past. And then you're like, okay, maybe this is starting to get a little bit interesting. Gives me faith to, or hope that it is based on a novel and it's not like, so I'm like, okay, there's a little bit more something substantive here. Curious still doesn't beat out How to Make a Killing for me, just because, that film looks fun as well as interesting. This one looks interesting, but like, probably heavy. Looks like there's interesting. But yeah, I'm still going with How to Make a Killing.
I'm with you. I agree. I am interested in seeing Midwinter Break because I do like those two actors.
Yeah.
I'd like to see, and I'm kind of curious where that film is going to go, what the story is all about. But, but overall if I'm making a choice, I'm still with How to Make a Killing for my choice for the weekend. All right. We have one more candidate.
Okay.
And again, these are all movies coming out this weekend. So it's not like we're talking about months away. These are all three happening in a matter of days.
Okay.
This one is called Psycho Killer.
So this is an exploration into the song by the Talking Heads?
No.
Okay.
No. We really need to have Chris read more about movies being released. No.
Fair enough.
From 20th Century Studios, they market this as it's from the producers of Barbarian and Weapons.
Okay. Red flag.
Yeah, I know, because it's not a Zach Krager film.
Right. He's not directing it. It's just
but you have to play out both those films. It always
because those two films were very successful.
Yeah.
And one is not has Oscar nominations behind it. Alan and Chris are like, oh, but they were like, oh.
Yeah. I know, when you have to kind of pull out those names, just because I'm sure it was one of the producers was a producer on the film.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, is Psycho Killer, a terrifying cross-country road trip starring Georgina Campbell and James Preston Rogers, directed by Gavin Polone.
Okay. I don't think I know any of the three names that you just said.
Yeah.
But maybe I do. We'll see when I watch the trailer.
We'll see. Written by Andrew Kevin Walker, which I think I'm familiar with some things he's written.
Okay, that's another name that I don't think I'm familiar with.
All right, well, let's just watch the trailer and we'll see.
Sure.
Are we looking at a typical horror slasher film, or are we looking at something a little more interesting? So let's watch the trailer for Psycho Killer and see what we've got.
It hasn't even been 48 hours since you buried your husband. What I hope to help you come to grips with, no matter how many times you replay what happened, the outcome is inescapable.
All right, that was the trailer for Psycho Killer. Yes, so the writer, that's where I was recognizing the name, that is Andrew Kevin Walker, did write 7. So it's mentioned up on text on the screen. You can't really hear it in the podcast, but yes,
sure.
Set up on the screen. He was the writer of 7 and 8mm, which I think is a Nicolas Cage movie that done both.
You're correct.
Brian De Palma, maybe?
I think you're right, yeah.
Yeah. No, Brian De Palma was Snake Eyes. 8mm was a different director.
Yeah, okay. Well, you could have... Yeah.
Anyway, but Nicolas Cage for sure.
Yes, I think you're correct.
Thoughts?
So, too many... Okay, yeah. This is definitely third on the list as far as interest-wise. It suffers from what I'm going to call the long legs problem, except it doesn't star Nicolas Cage. I really don't think so. Horror, indie horror, trailer has a lot of like really slick, startling kind of visuals. And you're like, okay, but then substantively you throw in like hocus pocus satanic stuff. And I'm like, okay, it seems too tropey.
Yeah.
So it doesn't seem to be really anything that's going to stand apart. And, kind of like Long Legs, you have like some police trying to get to the bottom of it. And it's just like, it just seems like it's borrowing a little bit from column A, column B, and column C, putting this together. And it just doesn't sound. And then even the visuals of having like the upside down cross and some of the text on the screen, you're like, okay, yes, we get it. There's going to be satanic stuff. It's trying so hard. Now, all that said, as it is with, you and I don't run out to see horror movies. That's just not our thing. However, I will say that because of how the visuals do look unique or whatever, if I hear that this movie, if like I'm aware of it now, and if I hear that it's good, I'll be like, oh, okay, maybe I will check it out come October or whatever for Halloween. Like,
well, the key is going to be the Barbarian effect. It's like Barbarian is not a film I would have gone out and seeked out just based on a quick trailer.
Exactly.
But once I heard that there was a little more to it and it was kind of interesting the way it was done, then I'm like, all right, now I'm game.
Right.
Sign me up. That would be the same with Psycho Killer. If I hear that there's a little more to it than just a paint by numbers serial killer trying to play off of a Long Legs type of thing, then I'm like, all right, maybe I'm game. So, but I have to hear some of that first.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, that's where I am with that. All right. So it sounds like we're saying how to make a killing.
It does.
Is the key in what we're thinking about for this weekend. Are we right with that?
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Now, here's the other factor we have to play into, Chris. You and I, we do not live in New York City.
One day.
We live in a place where, we have one primary chain theater in driving distance, and we're kind of stuck with whatever that film or whatever that theater decides to show. So the key is, will our local theater even be showing How to Make a Killing?
Tune in next week to find out if they did. Right.
And I'll go ahead and spoil the answer. Answer is yes.
Okay.
So
they did. I do remember seeing a trailer for How to Make a Killing at said theater, which doesn't always mean that they're going to bring it. Sure. But yeah, okay.
It will be playing. So that sounds like that's where we are going to be this weekend. That is the tentative plan. Okay. Good. Meeting adjourned. We are done. We have made that decision. So thank you to the listeners for indulging us while we
on-air production meeting. Yeah. Sure.
All right. Well, that is really all we had to do on news and such, because we really just had no other news to share. I mean, we've got nothing.
It's a dry time, a desert time for new movies coming out, kind of. also that way for movie news. Things have just kind of slowed to a trickle.
Not a lot to chew on right now. So let's just go ahead and jump right to the end of our show, our last segment, which is Chris's recommendation for the episode. Chris, what film do you have to recommend to us this week that you think is worth our time if we were looking for something to add to our ever-expanding movie queue?
I'm going to recommend a film from 2024. I think it hit the festival circuit there, but then was released or whatever, maybe in 2025. I'd heard of it when it was on the festival circuit. It's a film by Tolga Karelichik. I'm not exactly sure how you say the fellow's name, but the title of the movie, get ready, Psychotherapy, the shallow tale of a writer who decided to write about a serial killer. Now, you hear that and you're like, okay, no. Then yeah, you probably don't want to watch this movie. Let me read you the description, which you can kind of get from the title. But a struggling writer in the midst of a divorce befriends a retired serial killer who incidentally becomes his marriage counselor by day and killing counselor for his next book by night. See, okay?
Okay.
Now, Steve Buscemi plays the retired killer, or the retired serial killer. John Mazzaro plays the writer.
Okay.
And Britt Lower, who a lot of people would know from Severance, she plays the wife of John Mazzaro. So this is a very odd film, as you can kind of get from the set. Dark comedy. There are comedic elements in it, but it, as you can kind of guess by subject matter, it's dark. It seems like something that Charlie Kaufman probably would have done because of how some of the little bit of the structure and just kind of the dark humor and quirky nature of it.
Yeah.
But, if you hear the title, Psychotherapy, the shallow tale of a writer who decided to write about a serial killer, and you're like, no, then probably not for you.
Yeah.
I heard it, was intrigued, watched the movie, and it worked for me. I like I say, not recommended for everyone, but if it sounds like it's your type of film, I recommend it. Check it out. It's on Amazon Prime. So if you subscribe to that, you can watch it for free. And I think you can probably rent it on several digital services as well. But I liked it definitely. And it's something where you talk about a unique stamp. We were saying how Crime 101, we wanted a unique stamp and we didn't get it because the director's previous work had achieved that. This is a relatively newer filmmaker, and based on the stamp that he put on this, it's like a dark comedy, couples getting divorced. There's a serial, it's original enough that I'm like, okay, I like it, and I want to see what this guy's going to do next because it's that kind of interesting.
Okay.
So, again, it's on Amazon Prime.
Give me that name one more time.
Sure. Psychotherapy, the shallow tale of a writer who decided to write about a serial killer.
Okay.
So
yeah, easy enough. It just
rolls off the tongue. Sure,
it's easy. Yes, and you have to actually do with your little clicker. If you're typing on the TV screen, you have to type in that entire title.
Also,
no, technically, you should just be able to type
psychotherapy,
and probably it pops up.
Sure.
It's probably one of very few selections that have psychotherapy in the title.
And it's a breezy 102 minutes, so right under 2 hours.
Yeah, it's
so,
not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad. Okay, well, that will wrap us up for today. Then we had our review of Crime 101, our dissection, our dissertation.
Yes,
on the movie Crime 101. We had our production meeting where we decided which of the 3 films coming out this weekend that we were going to watch, and the winner is How to Make a Killing. And then Chris's recommendation of Psychotherapy, the rest of the title.
If you were actually going to be able to remember that, I was going to be really impressed.
So. No, but another film to check out thanks to Chris's recommendations there. So, all right, Chris, if anybody does go out and see Crime 101 per our suggestion and wants to give us some feedback, tell us if we're off base with it or try to defend it in any way.
Sure.
Or just wants to talk about anything else. How can they get a hold of us?
You can send an email to info@footcandle.org. You can also leave a voicemail via the contact page on the mesh.tv website. You can follow us on Facebook at Foot Candle Film Society, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, we're at Foot Candle Film. We're also on Letterboxd where we try to track what we're seeing and leave quick takes when we can. Do us a favor, if you like the show, give us a star rating, write a review, or share with friends on whatever service you receive your favorite podcast on because it'll help us reach new listeners. We would appreciate that. And As Alan kind of teased at the beginning of the show, we do have a film festival that will be happening in September 18th through the 27th. Submissions are open right now for filmmakers, but we will be releasing the actual lineup later this year, June, July timeframe. So if you're a filmmaker, consider submitting a film. If you just are a film lover, consider traveling to Western North Carolina during that time and attending the festival.
All right. Sounds like some good opportunities to connect with us, and we hope to see or hear from you soon. Thanks, everybody, for listening, and we'll look forward to talking to everybody next time. Take care.
See you in the ticket line.
Watch films in the company of like-minded people in the dark. Watch films in the underground. We won't let anyone know where you are. The films that don't make it to Carmike at the mall, or ones that were famous when Grandpa would watch films out of the reverence of the heritage of an art. Watch films through the courtesy of Foot Candle Film Society.
Special thanks to Carpal Tuller for the show theme music. For more about Carpal Tuller, visit www.carpaltuller.com. You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.